Might be live. Might be live. Probably live. Hello, Internet. Welcome back to Space Engineers. So, as we uh as we get rid of that screen, that happens. Is it when I hit Control? No, it must be Control F1, which is my hotkey for or just maybe F1, which is my hotkey for starting and stopping the stream. Uh, but anyway, whatever. Hello, Internet. Welcome back to Space Engineers. So, you may be noticing some things are different. Let me hop out of my chair here. Even the chair's different. It's now moved in a block. Uh, I came in the off time. I kind of framed up everything, more or less. Ignore the big holes in the roof, but got the frame here. I have the basement pretty much done, ignoring, the wire roof. And I gave the base some mechanical upgrades, so we now have a large refinery and a full assembler, which is, in terms of production, pretty much it. We are now set and ready to go, and we can make anything in the game. One thing... Oh, well, I'll get to that in a second. The main thing left kind of to upgrade with these, so these little kind of small ports on the back are where you attach upgrade modules, so those will probably be useful in the future, and then just more of them. But in terms of, like getting started, we are now officially started. So, yeah. I'll go downstairs real quick and show. So, it's going to take a lot of steel plate to weld all this up, but that's fine because we have the iron mine, and I'll show that in a bit. But you can see we even get some nice ambient light from above. You can see I got this down here welded up, at least, the main floor parts. Kind of all ready to go. I have these little rail things that I may weld up or may just leave. Depends on how I like the looks, but just to keep you from falling into the crack there. And I don't have any here yet, and I'm debating what to do about that, but it's fine either way. So the base is coming along good. Let's head out to the parking pad here. So the truck, the big thing you may notice, it no longer has the ore detector. So in coming on in the kind of off time, one of the main things I do then is gather resources, running the drill and whatnot. So in doing that, I realized I needed some more room so I didn't have to make 2 or 3 trips with the truck just to bring everything back from the drill. So, truck is now storage truck. You may also see these things sitting under the cockpit. Those are timer blocks, which if I hop aboard and show, so let's unlock and then turn the battery back on. So if you see 4 and 5 on my hotbar, those are the 2 timer blocks. What those those control 2 timer blocks. There are actually 4 involved. And what those do, if I show you here. Come on. There we go. They allow me to raise and lower my suspension automatically. Whereas before, I had to just click a bunch to increase the height or decrease the height. These are set up, I can sort of show. So, these are timer block up and down. Each of them triggers, I think I have it set up. So when I hit, I can show it. I had the whole, I got to this point pre-planning of like, here's what I'll say when I start the episode. Now it's all falling apart. Uh, but if I go in, yeah, so the main timer block sets the wheel to go, to change its height, and sets the second timer block to trigger. The second timer block for the particular action sets the first one to trigger, and I have this here stopping the other one, but that only half works. That's why if you saw me doing it, I kind of have to, you know, I'm hitting what should go up, and sometimes it takes me a couple tries. So I do have to hit it once or twice. I've found kind of cycling them can kind of help. Now there we go. It's a little bit finicky, but it's easier than clicking the thing up and down a bunch, or at least it feels better. So, now that we're up and ready to go, we'll drive on over to the drill, and, ooh, that unknown signal's actually not far away. I'll go ahead and go to that, see what adventures that brings, if it's still there by the time I get back, and then drill on the way back. Now, there's one thing I've noticed in kind of, you know, coming back to the save and playing off camera. Oh, slow up for the hit. Oh, I forgot about that. Wow, I've been really lucky to swing wide of the cliff face there every time. I guess because most of the time I'm coming for the drill, and so I swing around. You can see while we're here, I can kind of show it off. I drilled a little bit further into the ground. We are nowhere near iron yet, but it's doing its thing. If I come over up the hill a bit, I believe, and the downside of doing stuff off camera is I can't remember what I filmed last. I edited it a week ago, so God only knows. But I think I had one cargo container, and I determined when this thing does a full load, one cargo container is not enough. So I stuck two more on there, and now it's pretty good. Which is also why we have the 3 cargo containers on the truck, because that cargo container and that one have the same mass, or same storage. Not up there. So, that's what changed there. Let's see if we can make it to this unknown signal. What I was saying before I drove off a cliff nearly. Something I've noticed, when you load back into a save, if there was an unknown signal, it no longer shows the timer on your HUD. Normally it'll have, a little countdown like 10 minutes left, better go get it. That goes away when you reload the save, but the timer is still active. So, that unknown signal, if I don't get there quick enough, it will just blink out of existence. Because the the timer is still going, it remembers how long it has. It just doesn't show me anymore. So the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, I can just like take my time and get that whenever. And then it went away. But I think we're good. Doesn't look like one with any nasty tricks. What do I get? Oh, a leopard helmet. I'll add that to the 5 others. Another thing with the, so I just glanced over at the info. I dropped a few frames, but I think we're good. Probably. Probably when I was moving and stuff. So, you'll notice in my hotbar I have, all tier 1 level tools. That's what the little 1 arrow thingy is. So those have all come out of drop pods, and I thought, ooh, this is real nice. Now I have super expensive tools I couldn't get before. And I checked in the manufacturing thing. All you need to make these is cobalt, which I now have, so it's not actually all that exciting, but I got them for free. So, there we go. Nope. Well, I guess I can just drill this and take the oh well. Doesn't matter too much. Sometimes you get real nice stuff, and sometimes it's junk. Okay. So one thing I did to, not so much intentionally design, but it just kind of luckily worked out. There's enough room between this cargo container and the front bit to walk. So I'll be able to, when I kind of give this thing an outer shell, so it's not just a flat sled with containers on the back, I will be able to put a door here, one of the small grid doors, and I'll actually be able to get in and stand inside the vehicle. That doesn't really mean much here in this context, but it'll feel good. So, down back. Oh, and actually, while I'm out here, this is actually perfect. That silver boulder is right over here. One thing you may have noticed when we were back at the base, where the original production stuff was, that's now just empty space in front of the chair. What I want to put there, I have to remember to go in my cockpit because for some reason it stutters back and forth when I'm outside. What I want to put where the original production stuff was is a med bay. Like one of the big full grid med bays. And that'll mean I'll be able to finally get rid of the little husk of the survival pod. But I believe I need silver for the medical components, because the medical components you get out of the survival kit are not enough to build a medical bay. So we'll kind of back her right up there. And future editor me will probably go to a time lapse as I drill this silver. Away! Eh. Yeah, one more load. This should more or less set me up, at least for now. I don't think there's too much I need silver for yet. I think you use it for like gravity components. Various jumping drives and whatnot. That guy... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Bad things occurring. Okay. That's a drone. Come out of the time lapse. No more time lapse. Okay. Well, this is exciting. I'm out of ammo. Attack! Oh, I should have locked to it. Come on. Oh, I gotta stay away from that gun. This got very intense very quick. Oh, I hope it doesn't shoot the truck much on its way down. Okay. Huh. Well, so, that was something. I didn't realize that was happening. So, that's what happens if those ships up there get too close. It detected me down here, spawned a drone, and the drone then comes and tries to kill me. Oh, my inventory's full. We'll go and... Well, we'll salvage that, because it's free junk, but... Did it do any... Do a quick visual check of the truck. Ah, it did do some shooting. Well, let's put that there. Luckily, it doesn't look like it hit anything important. But... Don't know what it was shooting for there. It may have been trying for the battery and oh, it did. Okay. Well, good thing we shot it down. Uh, yeah, it was shooting at our everything pretty much. Okay. Well, good thing it didn't succeed. Oh no, it took out... Jeez, that thing was good. It took out one of the sets of the raising lowering things. Dang it, I just put those in. I was just commenting how nice they were. Okay, I don't think I left any. Wait, I think I may have. Quick, flood the hole. Yep. Leave no stone unstoned. Dang. Well, okay. Oh, that's the cargo container. It's full. So, that is a great segue into the kind of my main plan for today's episode. I think we're getting to the size we're no longer... We aren't flying under the radar anymore. Enemy ships are going to now probably start noticing us like this one did and attacking. What that means is we need something to defend ourselves. I am thinking today I'm going to design a little fighter ship that I can use to, in the event that we're... Sorry, that's loud. It won't be as loud for you guys. Yeah, no, it's not. Check my audio levels, make sure I've not deafened the group. But, so, oh, this is perfect for that, actually. So I want a little ship that I can use to basically launch when I'm under attack to defend myself. This will be perfect because most of these thrusters are intact. Which means that should be more than enough thrust to use for my own ship. So that's real handy. Let's go ahead. I may reorganize the cargo a bit here. So I'll put all the loot into here. Let's real quick pop another that down. And I guess 2 more of these down. Luckily, those 2 in the front were one group, so I only have to redo either the up or down. Oh, interior plate. I don't know if this has any of that. Unfortunately, it looks like most of the goodies ended up being destroyed on the crash. The big gun and a lot of the brain technology, computery type stuff is in the front here, normally on these. Oh, never mind. Granted, well, okay. Granted, that doesn't have a ton of stuff, but it's something. Debating. Well, I may have time-lapsed through some of this, so we'll just leave it in. Leave it as something creative for future me to do. Because I could have ignored, just get the valuables and left the scrap for another day. That may be something I do. It's something I thought about a bit over the week. Was rigging up this thing with like a little crane. So I can also use it to salvage parts. Oh, that'll be close. We'll get that too while I'm out. I'd be able to salvage parts like whole. Basically pick up this whole thing, for example. Drive it back home. And then have some sort of like grinder rig pit set up to actually process it. That way I'm not just hand grinding away. Or I've seen some people set up things where you have a bunch of the collector blocks as like a floor, and you just dump stuff there, grind it down, and once your inventory fills up, the parts start dropping out and then just get sucked up. So it's a little bit less hassle than a like that, for example. And then you damage some, and it's a sad time. But that may be a good option just because it's a little bit more performance friendly, and you know, it's a little bit easier. You don't have to build quite so big a complex rig. That may be a future blah blah. I don't know how to speak. Future task. For once we are ravenous space pirates, taking on anything that we see. Oh, have a sip of tea. Delicious. So I think that's that. Let's top this off. An interior plate for that. Which I don't think I got 8. We'll just wait, and I have to repair the front bits anyway, so. Ooh, what is that? Hold on. Are you... Ooh, ammo. So one benefit of that, too, if we look at the goodies we got, we now have 11 canisters of the heavy ammo, which I believe I should be able to make now because I have the normal refinery and assembler. But, this is a... Taking down drones like this is a good way, generally, if you can salvage it, to get extra ammo without having to build it. So that is the kind of the dynamic that changes when you have the air traffic mod and kind of the mods that add grids moving about in the world. There's really no penalty for piracy. So it kind of just opens it up. Sometimes your best option is to just shoot down big ships. Now you have all the parts you need to do whatever you want to do. Which I like a little better because it saves you having to do some of the more annoying mining. You can focus mining on just like specific stuff. Ooh. Now I believe this is one of the drop pods that has the thruster in it. So once I get close, it'll fly away. I don't think I've shown one of these on the stream yet, but trick. Yep, see? Oh, you have to know what to hit. I didn't get anything. I think it just hit my truck. Yep. That was chaotic. Normally, if you hit the right button, it'll just pop up for a second and then fall right back down because once the button's hit, the thing just shuts down. So let's move forward a bit. Try not to run it over too bad, just so it's easy to salvage. But that's good, because that's one extra thruster. Another drill, which I don't really need. Some space bucks, which I kind of need. I'll just get the good bits out of this, because we don't really need all that much. Well, a very chaotic trip out, but a very productive one. Give me those. We now have task and purpose. We have some components with which to enact that purpose. I think that's just a husk. We have seen combat. We are now hardened warriors. And we survived it. Where on earth am I? Home is that way. Oh, I think that might be the cliff right here. Yeah, that's bad times over there. So, one benefit too from oh my goodness. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is bad. Huh. I mentioned it being chaotic. I how are we? I'm amazed we're fine. Yeah, that's how that was. Okay. Well, that's good at least. I'm not sure what just happened. Uh, so the chain of events, from what I can tell, oh, we dinged up our rear a little bit. How horrible. Uh, so I was going a little too fast over that bluff. It looked like the back wheels left the ground and the front wheel hit a rut, which whipped the truck around, and then we cartwheeled. And somehow, despite all, my understanding of physics, we ended up upside down slightly, but more or less fine. And the bright side is we just salvaged a bunch of junk, so we should have plenty of stuff for a piston to push ourselves back over. What a piston thing. Steel plate. I may have everything I need on me. So, we'll do back here. Maybe 2. And let's see what 1 does. So, this is a handy thing if you ever flip in Space Engineers. With a wheeled vehicle. I want to point out, there's no gyroscope on this thing. All that whipping around and craziness, that was just purely the game doing what it do. There may have been a little bit of klang involved, but it was just the universe deciding my fate. So, anyway, sorry, people snow plowing outside and scraped and confused me. It's snowing like crazy, my lord. It doesn't affect you guys in internet land, probably. So, anyway, handy way to flip, piston. Well, that's not quite what I wanted. It did flip. Okay. Get rid of the piston. Huh. Okay. Well, so now let's try it again. Let's head in reverse. We're back to where we started, so that's handy. Let's try this. So, another thing, I feel like a piston is going to be the handiest in this case. But you can also build... So, how Space Engineers does, like, massive blocks, an unwelded block has all the mass of a welded block. They are, as the game sees it, the same. The difference is, the welded block has all the components in it. An unwelded block does not. It only has the one you need to place. Batteries are very heavy. And they use steel plate, which is very cheap. So, what you can do is essentially build a big old line of batteries in the direction you want the thing to fall, shift the weight of the vehicle enough so that it falls on that weight of batteries, and then basically just lever it over like that. But uh that may be what I do if this doesn't work, but I like the piston. Uh Another thing, and I don't know, I've probably I may have used it. I've probably at least shown it a bit. I don't think I've talked about it. One mod that I actually didn't have loaded in here initially is Build Vision, which how this works. So I'm looking at the block and hitting control. It gives me control of the block. So, yeah. So I can just turn it on in reverse, which didn't do very much, but you know. Oops. I can turn it on in reverse without having to go into go into control panel, find the piston and control it. Very handy. I'd almost say is a required mod for effective play. How do I wanna... You know what? This is a teaching moment for everyone, so I'll show the, batteries up here. I'll show the battery trick. Another, handy trick for if it's a large grid vehicle you need to flip, which is generally much more unfortunate. The Refinery, which is this massive bad boy, you still only need one place to put it down, and it's got quite a bit of heft. So, we'll go ahead and just to get it further out, we'll rotate it. I'll get myself some more steel plate. And can kind of stair step it. Unfortunately, and I may adjust this when I shell this vehicle, which I may do today as well. It really sets up, because the wheels are so far outside the body, like it's really pretty secure right now, resting on this kind of corner, which is unfortunate when you want to flip it. Oh, there it goes. Yes. So, now you simply grind the batteries away again, and it comes right over, thanks to the power of physics. And the brake's not on, the brake's not on, shoot. The cliff is right there. Okay. That would have been much harder to come back from had it decided to careen off the cliff. Okay. Ow. This session has been going great so far. Really successful. Okay. Let's gently and carefully make our way back home. We'll be very cautious of our terrain and avoid excessive speeds. So, I feel like at some point I was speaking about the flying ship I'm going to build here. Before some craziness or another interrupted me. So, the benefit of having a little flying ship, and I think I'm going to make it a ship, not a drone, so give it actual cockpit so I can get in it. But the benefit, one of the many, is that I'll be able to get places where I can't drive. Now, as a fighting ship, it's probably not going to have any cargo in it, but at the very least, I can get somewhere and, say for going quickly salvaging drop pods or things, I'll be able to go and do that much easier. I think it blew up the down ones. Yep, dang. Well, while we're here, go ahead. I may have the stuff I need on me, actually. Then I have a little bit more stuff. I think that might be what we need. There. Guess the nice thing about this, it gives me a chance to show how to do this, so if people want to set up a system similar to this in the future, you'll have a little tutorial. So, okay. So I'll go in, we'll name this down, and down 2. Okay. So up, and this is wheels being weird in Space Engineers. To set it to up, you have to set the height to decrease. So for timer block down, we want not the front wheels. We want all the wheels to increase height. And then we want to trigger timer block 2. And I believe I do have it set up to, yeah, to trigger now, as opposed to having a delay on this, which I did. I did at first thinking that having it trigger now would shoot the thing up real fast and make it hop. But it's actually, trigger now is nice and gentle, and having the delay just makes it jerky. So, okay, so that's set up. Now, timer block 2, we set, not to trigger itself, we set the second timer block to trigger on the first one. So basically what this does is it creates a timing loop. And we'll set this one to stop? Or is it supposed to be up 2 stops? Anyway, so basically what this creates is an infinite loop of the timers triggering themselves, which each time it triggers, each time timer block 1 triggers, it will adjust the height. So this is a good way in Space Engineers if you want one button that will, like, raise something all the way up or lower it all the way down. This is a good way to do that when Space Engineers has stuff kind of incremental. So, if any of that made any sense, hopefully it helped someone. Let's just see. No, not that one. Yeah, so it stops down 2. And I don't know if this matters as much with trigger now, but I did it and then it worked, so I don't know if it would work without this or not, but it's how I had it, so I'm going to leave it. So which means down 2 needs to trigger up 2 to stop. To stop. Okay. So now we're set, should be aligned. Let me set that one on the block. And down we go. Okay. The leftover plate into there. So now, and actually, handy tip for transferring cargo. So you can set each side of the inventory you can set to be your suit or of the connected vehicle. What I like to do is look at one of the containers that I need, so it just pops up right quick. And then on the other side, find the container I want, this being the main base cargo. And then you can just shift click and transfer all your junk from one container to the other. So, okay. So we're good. The ore should be slowly pulling out and processing. Oh, I didn't even go and turn on the drill. Well, real quick. Let's... Oh, and I dumped my... Did I? No, I've still... Oh, I'm a doof. There we go. Let's fill that up. Dump the rest of this. Oh, that's right. I made these so I could weld these things up. It's possible previous Scott actually calculated how much stuff he'd need. Nope. Out of stuff. So, what to do then? Well, first things first. Let's go to our production. Actually, first things first. I need interior plate. That's the wrong button. Should have some of that. Not nearly enough, so let's go ahead and produce a bit. We'll pop this down. How many? 15 medical components. Okay. And how many grids? 60. I may be building some grids, because you need grids for thrusters as well. How many? That has 3 medical components, yeah, so we will need a good bit more. Here are medical components. Ooh, and they take a lot of silver each. This is the constant juggle of, space engineers. Getting the stuff that you need, figuring out what you need, and then setting it up so that you have enough. The bright side, as we advance and turn to a life of high crime, we'll probably not need as much because we'll get so much stuff out of ships. But for now, I'd like to have this set up at the main base just so we can kind of do stuff with it. And in fact, what I may do is, so I believe I talked about previously, batteries in Space Engineers, when you grind them down, you lose the power cells. What I may do, since we have this battery still, I may build a little crane rig and just build my flying ship off of this. Have that battery as kind of the base of it. Okay. And then, you know, build everything else off of there. That way I don't lose the power cells. That's what those things I just said are. Okay. 0.46. Are we out of silver? Nah, we got a ton of silver. It just stopped caring about silver. That is one thing. I wish with the refineries, there may be some way to, like, convince it to do things different. But from what I've found, there's a set, like, this is what it wants to do. I guess it may, if I took the cobalt out completely, it may just pull silver in next. There's some set tier of what it wants to refine in what order. But I kind of wish if it were refining something, I wish the first thing it would do would be check to see if there's any more in the inventory. That way, if I had a little bit of silver in there, because not all of it fit, the next thing it would do is pull more silver as opposed to switching to the cobalt. which takes decades to do. Ooh. We're gonna have enough medical components and then some, which is good, because one, we need silver for other things, but two, that could mean we could have multiple medical things. Since I didn't have to use the ones on that survival kit, I may have to see if I can rig up. Unfortunately, the truck's kind of out of room. But maybe another future vehicle may end up with a survival kit on it just so I have a mobile respawn. Because that can be handy, especially for ships, or if you have to go into a ground station. Because there are, that's one thing I did actually. So, in a bit of creativity background, I came in, I believe the last thumbnail for the last episode that went up on YouTube, I didn't really have a good frame to pull from the video, which is how I tend to do stuff. So I came in, made a new save, switched to creative mode, and then got everything framed up so I could make myself a nice thumbnail. When I was doing that, I also wanted to check and make sure there are supposed to be bases that will spawn around me, and eventually will get, so basically it's the assertive installations, which is similar to that assertive ship that flew over and spawned that drone, except the bases, they're stationary, obviously, because it's a building. They increase a sort of range, and if you end up in that range, they will send drones to attack you. So that is in here, but I was worried it wasn't actually working because I've not seen anything. It is working. I eventually found ground stuff. But, it was a ways out I had to go. So, eventually, when we're traveling the globe, it'll be real handy to be able to safely take out one of those things without, ending up all the way back here. So, okay. So that's built. What to do next? I guess let's go ahead. Oh, actually, if we want to... Oh, what we'll have to do first... Where to do that? If I'm gonna get rid of this and use the battery for other stuff, I need an oxygen generator, or an O2H2 generator, so that I can have air to breathe. I'm thinking what we'll do... there it is. Is down here on this side, because we have our cargo container. We have room for another cargo container. I think what I may do, my thought was to have an oxygen tank and a hydrogen tank, but those are expensive. We'll just have, kind of right here, big O2H2 gen, pipe it in, that way we fill up our tanks here as opposed to the little portable thingy. And that should be good. I'll be able to make a straight line of pipe up over to that connector. And I'll still have room right next to it here for a second. Well, that's almost done. I'll have room right here for a second large cargo if I need it. Which I may do. I did not pay attention to what I needed. Maybe computers? Motors? Motors are good. Ah, I was right. There are only so many things in Space Engineers that things need. Oh, and I'll need... I'll need some more interior plate. Plate, small steel tubes and motors. Some construction components. Make some tubes too. For the connection. And honestly, having this piped up isn't all that important. Because I shouldn't really... Oh, actually, no, I'll want to do this so I can get oxygen and hydrogen in the medical building. The thing I just built. Whatever that's called. Okay. So now we have all our junk and our hot water heater in the basement. Plumbing's all built. We're doing all right. I didn't use any hydrogen, so let's... Up we go. Down we go. Yep, it's working. Which is extra impressive given there's no ice in that, so... Oh, no, it does, because there was some ice in storage. Which there can now be more ice. How much of this can I hold? All of it. So... And it should automatically take all those. Oh, it won't take that, but... Dump that in. So it's now ready. Anytime we need to fill up, we can just access that from anywhere in the base and be good. So... Now my idea for this little ship... I was going to have the battery essentially at the bottom with a connector below it. That's how it would, how it will connect to the base. Just get a bunch of those. So I guess for now we should kind of build it sideways and try and flip it over. Actually, I guess. So that way it'll be that way. If I do this, unlock, and then build myself a piston with friction component, tube, and motor, and computers. I should be able to get it to kind of sit flat on this and then build off of it like that. Oops. Well, that's not gone right. Don't need that, and we shouldn't need this anymore. Sure. Nope, don't grind the battery. Okay. Let's try like this. Get up. Okay. That's the wrong button. What I can do here... Give me my piston back. I'll build it some little props here. So that... There we go. Build it some props so I don't lose the progress. And then just shift this way. And reverse. There's probably a quicker way to close that, but the only way I know how to do it is to hit exit real quick. I should figure that out, because it just means there's a weird flash of blue on the screen. Perfect. So, now that's some sort of upright. Let's go ahead and put most of this stuff away. Start planning out how we want to do this. So, what we'll need is that. Let's get kind of a functional flying structure first. We'll need some interior plate, which we have a bit of. Okay. So I'll have that there. And then we'll have our lifting thrust. Ah, dang it. How to improve that? Well, we'll have our lifting thrust kind of there at 4 kind of corners. My thinking, my kind of inspiration for this a bit is the in Sonic the Hedgehog, Eggman's sort of bubble seat ship, where it's just kind of like a little bowl that he sits in. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. So I'll have basically us in the middle of a little spherical thing. On each side, I'm thinking of putting turrets. That way, I don't have to, when I'm engaging with something, I can just let the turrets kind of automatically deal with it. They're much more accurate in terms of targeting things. And if I want to take something on, I can always switch into the turret and control it manually. And I may add a single gun off the front, because the one downside with turrets, if you're fighting, say, a drone, they'll just shred the drone, which means it goes away and you win, but it doesn't leave very much for salvaging. I'd be very careful grinding away stuff on a wireframe like this. Well, most of this frame, because I am building this out of light armor, most of the frame I'm putting in all the materials already, so the bulk of this shouldn't actually be that much more expensive. So that. Nope, that's not what I want. So sometimes in Space Engineers, if you accidentally double click instead of holding and clicking, the drill will just turn on forever. Which means you do things like cut apart the thing you're trying to build because you suddenly are drilling it. Oh dang. Oh no, that's fine actually. Because I believe, yeah, that's another connector port. I may actually have to cut away some of this to actually weld, but yeah, I think this is kinda the gist. So I'll put in forward and back thrust, and I could actually, yeah, we'll give it just a bit of side thrust. My goal with this thing is that I'll be able to use it to take on larger ships, which may mean, very likely will mean, I'll need to sit floating in this thing up in the air and be able to kind of hold myself in position to fire and snipe stuff at a distance. It should be good. My big fear is that that battery is not going to have enough power to power these thrusters, which is part of why I'm being somewhat light on the thrust. What am I doing? I'm running around like a moron. Okay. I think this is the basic frame of it. Now what I need to do is weld. So how many... Well, let's just... Nope, not you. So control right click. Should be 2 in the build planner. And if I go shift middle mouse, it's the wrong thing to do. So if I have enough components, I may just leave this as is, because I will need it. Like, I'll probably need to build these components, so... Or at least, I'll need these components to build it, even if I don't need them to build the turret specifically. I can never remember the keybind for the just withdraw. That was a shift middle mouse, so it might be control right click. Control right click. Well, the game saved. Control middle mouse. Control middle mouse. Perfect. So weld that up. And control middle mouse. Don't know why it wants to withdraw so much stuff, but it might be that the build planner wanted to build the big version, which it doesn't need to do. We'll go ahead and turn those off. I kind of want to leave idle movement on, because it'll look like little arms flailing about. Doesn't need to target characters, because there shouldn't be characters. I'm debating... I don't want it to target large ships, at least yet. Or stations. So, my thought of this thing... The turrets are mainly there to protect me from drones spawning. So I can focus with the main front gun on picking off thrusters or turrets on other ships. From a distance, while these things do their business to keep me alive. So... Ooh. What I may actually do here... Yeah, let's drop these down a block. One thing I want to be able to do with this as well, I want it to be printable with a ship printer, which, if you're not familiar with this game, a ship printer is basically so you can build a welder block, this bad boy, that will weld things if it's close and the thing's turned on and has the components. What you can do is build essentially a little wall of welders. You have a piston rig set up with a projector block, which projects a blueprint which you can take of things you build. So you can project the blueprint, set up in a way so as the piston pulls back, the welders weld all the pieces, and you can essentially print, like 3D printing, a vehicle or ship. So, my goal, because this thing is relatively cheap and kind of small and scrawny, I want it to be printable, so if I blow up in it, I can quickly just hit a button and get another one, as opposed to having to rebuild from scratch. So, some of this I may do... Let's maybe focus on the control stuff. Oh! One real important thing. Needs a gyroscope in here to be able to actually control it. So... Get that almost all the way. So... Motor, computer, display, large steel tube. Computer, motors. Take those just for fun. Display and large steel tube. Can't remember. I don't think the small thrusters need large grid tubes. I think they use small tubes. So I should be good. Let's get... Oh no, they do use large tubes. Construction components and motors. I'm probably going to need a bunch more of those. Maybe not, actually. I will need more construction components. How much iron do I have still? 3K. I should have had the drill running. I meant to go over there and turn it on. Okay. Dang, that's a lot of construction components. What I'll do... I'll fill up real quick at our much zippier health station. I'm just gonna fly over, turn on the thingy, and... do. Because I need to have some stuff going. Was there any... Nah, nothing in it. Okay, so... Drill on. Up, down, max range to 7.5 meters. Oh, actually. Up, down piston off. Stop that drill. Bring the piston up. I found it's actually better to do this dropping down at the edge. Just because it lets you, start from there and kind of work your way in as opposed to having to slowly drill your way out first. So, probably not too much of a matter either way, but feels good to me. We can turn the drill on while it's going. So we get pretty close. Go ahead and set that to reverse. And now it'll take a little while longer because it was up further than normal. Have some more tea. Where are... Okay, it's moving away. I'm now a little bit more cautious about those. Oh, and I need more handgun bullets. That event did show how futile the handgun is. I emptied 3 magazines, I believe, into the drone, and it did nothing, really. It took me mounting it with a drill to actually, or with a grinder to actually take it down. Which honestly, depending on the type of drone, that tends to be the best way to do it. If you can get basically an angle where there's not a turret and stay there, the easiest option is generally just get on board, grind something important, and make it crash. Okay. So, pistons are now in position. Set our spinner. And now, I can just leave this, it'll make a full pass, and fill these up. And it won't matter that I don't come in. It won't lose any of the valuable resources. Which at the moment is just rocks. Go ahead. What else did I need for the cockpit? Nothing, it's built. Yeah, so it's just that. What do I need for the connector? Motors, small steel tubes, computers, steel plate. Oh, that was flight. That was not standing. Okay. Oh, real quick. Turn off inertial dampeners. That way it just sits on the ground. Doesn't use all its power trying hopelessly to fly. That is something I really hope this thing does fly. I hope it flies and flies with enough electricity to last. This is as much, well actually this is double the thrust that the drop pod had for something that is smaller. I don't know how much these turrets weigh compared to some of the construction stuff. That'll be the main kind of concern. Okay. Ooh, and actually, maybe I will. We'll have that open. That'll be how I get in. Ah, this looks good. Got this chest gun right there. Let's see. Okay, I do have control with the gyro. Thrust on. We're in the air. Hey! 9 minutes of power at full thrust, but we are not exceeding our, we're not exceeding our maximum power output of the one battery. So... Looks like it can hold itself straight up. Cannot hold itself side to side, but it shouldn't ever need to. Up thrust. It's got a bit... Not super zippy, but zippy enough. Yeah, it'll definitely drop if you aren't careful. But the idea of the turrets is hopefully I don't need to do any serious evasive maneuvers. In fact... Oh, no. So large ship turrets, you can set the aiming radius to 800 meters, which is, the default is 600. So, with the large grid turrets, they can shoot further than default, which means you can sit outside, your turrets essentially will, they will engage the enemy before the enemy can engage you. It's less accurate at that distance, but the turrets aren't incredibly accurate anyway in terms of, you know, accuracy. So, but I don't have that option, so there may be some smooth flying that has to happen. But let's go ahead, get it kind of high enough I can get under. Try not to cook myself. Go ahead and weld up the bottom. Had about 40 minutes hovering, so that should be plenty of time to do all this. And what I may do... So, this thing is going to be pretty much paper thin. That's just how armor in general in Space Engineers works. The small grid armor is weak. But what I may do is add in, if it doesn't add too much weight, I may add a second layer, basically surrounding the battery. That way, any bullets that do make it in, it's that much harder for them to hit anything that's critically important. But for now, let's, oh, come on. Land. And actually, if I'm gonna have its little merge block backpack back here, I need the plates to build it. I need plates for everything. Right there. That'll help protect the sideways thrusters a bit, too, which is handy. That's important for printing this in the future, so I can, I need one of these so I can disconnect it without having to grind anything off. Oh, and I should have... Where? Oh, it's with the remote. So the last things of importance, I will want a camera on the front and a light so I can see. Which I don't have the stuff for. So, a tubo, one of that. Well, I don't have glass yet. Actually, I don't think you need the glass. Well, I should. This thing will be seeing combat, so any little bit of protection will help. That might come over, but hopefully it won't be a particular threat. Yeah. Haha. Oh, I like this little thing. It's probably gonna get blown up instantly. It is not long for this world, I'm sure. Go ahead and take it inside. Oh, actually, let's see. This may destroy these blocks. Well, good for now. Because these are unwelded, they're quite weak, and they may be weak enough for the small grid thrusters to cook them, I don't know. Yeah. Let's set up our controls. So... I want that, or well, I want that as a weapon, so I can select and control it. I want my thrusters as a group, and I don't have to show them. Turrets as a group. And I should control them so I can control them. Ooh, yeah. Okay, he's on his way out. In fact, so this is left turret, which means this one must be right turret. Now it's a little easier for me to pick which one I need and which situation I need it. Hop back in. We will have that toggleable. Oh, and actually, so one thing I should do... Oh, actually, that's how I'll do it. Do I have enough? We'll find out. I'm gonna use a timer block. Just kind of right back here. Dang it. One more plate. Set it to produce a bunch. So I'll use this timer block. What it will do... What was that beep? Very strange. So what the timer block will do... Set up our actions. We will have it set the battery to recharge. Ooh, no, no, no. Okay. Strike that. We are not doing that. What I was going to do was have this timer block. It would basically be my ignition. So, when I want to start the thing up, I'd trigger that timer. It would turn the battery off recharge, turn the gyroscope on and thrusters on, maybe the turret's on too, so that I could then just take off and go. The issue with that, when the timer block doesn't have power, it can't be triggered. So if I wanted to do that, I need a starter battery, basically just one of the small grid batteries, like that, sitting somewhere on here, that sole purpose is to give power to the timer block to start everything up. And this thing isn't that complex that I really need that. So, like if you have a big ship with a bunch of stuff going on that, you know, if you want specific things to happen when you turn it on, that's useful. But in my experience, it's much easier. For something as simple as this, I'll have the battery on a separate thing, like with the truck, and then I'll have a flight systems group with the thrusters and gyro. So now we've got that. Want that there to switch the lock on and off. Have the turret control over here. Yeah, I want 3 to be my camera view. Yeah, no, that's it. So, let's go ahead. Well, thrusters are on. They're just inertial dampeners are off. So, with the camera, the purpose of this, when I actually have bullets in here, this will help me better aim my main gun that I'll use to snipe off things like turrets from ships and whatnot. Because I can, with a camera, I can zoom in and out. Can't do that just on your own. You can do that with a turret as well, but the reason I want the main gun and camera configuration is so that I can keep flying kind of forward and not get weirdly oriented by flying, sideways off the side of the ship like this. I'd rather kind of be the correct orientation, be locked in place so that I don't get confused when I'm actually in the air. Now, the last thing I'm thinking of doing... I feel like it should have a windscreen. Like, I want it to be a enclosed thing. Because that way, it offers a little bit of protection. Right now, one well-aimed bullet takes out the control seat, and I'm done anyway. The rest of the ship could be fine. The windows won't help much with that, but they do help. So let's put most of this stuff back. I need girders. Okay. So, and I think it'll kind of give it a cool look. The downside is I don't know how I will get in. I could just leave a hole in the canopy. In fact, maybe that's what I'll do. Yeah, let's not have it go above that. We'll have this back here be made out of the steel I don't have. And then from the front, we have our windows, which, let's produce a bit of glass. I'll need some for the these windows when I start actually welding the base up someday in the distant future. That does kind of goofy looking, but in a lovable way. Maybe let's see. Oh, but the glass. So, I was thinking about ways I could use the various special armor slopes to kind of, make this look a little bit more interesting. But the issue is there is no, those blocks don't have any sort of glass-based variant. So, to have the glass kind of continue the shape as it does, I have to keep it something I can make out of the glass. And it's not, I mean, like I said, I'm probably going to go up against the first ship I see in this thing. It will shoot me out of the air with a missile instantly, and then I will never fly it again. So, in truth, it's not that big of a... It doesn't have to be very beautiful. It probably won't survive long. So that's good. For a last bit of flare, let's put... Oh, because I don't have the things. So... Motors, displays, construction components. That be... Hope this is the right way up. Oh, not motors, computers. Why would a screen need a motor? Perfect. So, last thing we will do, set that to a script. Artificial horizon. New background, very slight green, I think. And then maybe darker green. Yeah. Look at that. Whoops, little hop. Now that looks like a proper fighter. Disguised as a ball. I'm excited about this thing. Whoops, that's the ground. That's the ground. Yeah. Oh, that's good. It does kind of... Let me real quick. Maybe less green, because it does kind of make it hard to see. Ooh. Do I want to go after the drilling platform? What am I saying? I've got very little power in the battery and no ammo. I think we'll have to wait until next session to test this bad boy out. But I need somewhere to park it. Let's bring her down here. We'll go ahead. I'll give it a its own custom maybe docking pad at some point, but for now we'll just pop it over here. Uh, Whoops. Okay. Thrusters on, turn that off. Find my battery. Set it to recharge. Okay. Yes. Oh, turn my headlight off. Oh, and now we're full of ammo. So, in the gun and not the turret. Why? Oh, because the turrets are off. I was like, why aren't they taking ammo? So I'll just manually load them up. 4, and then 4. 3 in the main gun. That's pretty good. Looks like a little head. Aw. Maybe, ooh. I'll have to figure that out. Maybe what I do is build myself a giant fighting robot and somehow use this as the head. I'll have to think on that. That's interesting. But I think for now, this is where we will leave it. We've made some progress. We've got plenty of resources now. Drill is on and going. We're ready to defend ourselves from any encroaching intruders should they arrive. So yeah. I think off camera I'll do some more welding on the base probably and general resource collection. Then same time, same place next Wednesday, maybe we'll find something to shoot down. So until then, thank you all for watching. Let me get ready with my buttons. In fact, no, Control 4, that does it. Okay, ready to end. So thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day and something else. I don't know. I'll find an outro one of these days. Goodbye.